it's Mystikal.
Since this is the NOLA Hip Hop Archive, we focus a lot on New Orleans and New Orleans music and people, your parents, your grandparents. Were there other musicians in your family?
Not that I know of. Well, my sister, she sang, and actually, when I got signed to a local deal in New Orleans in '94, she also signed to Big Boy Records also. So that was like, that was big. That was like my start. Unfortunately, she didn't get a chance to, live hers out because she lost her life that year, in a crazy, crazy relationship. So, and that, as tough as it was, they added a lot of texture and a lot of depth to who I actually, had grown to become as an artist, especially at that point. It was real pivotal.
I think it's so incredibly sad, just a really bizarre, weird coincidence that so many people who are within NOLA Hip Hop have had sisters killed.
Right.
Manny,
Stunner, right.
Yeah,
right.
there's been so many, and it's just
right.
it's really, I think,
Juvenile had a child killed, so it's, it's a part of life. Death is definitely a part of life. So
and it seems like in New Orleans it was a little bit closer.
I know it definitely. I mean, '94 we were the murder capital. As small as we were, per capita, that's crazy. That's definitely nothing to be proud of. But what it does tell us, if you survived through that era, God has something for you to do, for real. Because it was serious, and we were in the midst of it. Seriously.
So what were your cross streets when you were growing up, and what kind of music? I mean, you saw secondlines, you saw block parties.
Louisiana, Napoleon, Chopper Tool. Skinny motherfucker with the brain in his head. Did you live off of Chopper Tool? That was my stomping grounds right there. The uptown area. KL and them were uptown, but we were on the other side of Claiborne. Right.
What came first for you? I mean, I know you did a lot of breakdancing.
All the different fads and facets of hip hop. I did the electric boogaloo, pop locking, breakdancing, even try my hand at DJing, and I was good at all those avenues. But rap was the one that that kind of I took to the most.
Because you wrote poetry, didn't you? I mean, like that's sort of where it began, or where?
My first creative piece was a rap. It was a rap. It was a rap. I probably was paraphrasing Lottie Dottie. I had a song called Lottie Doody, or something like that. So it was. I patterned myself behind other artists that came before me until I eventually evolved into the artist who I was to become.
What's the first show that you can remember? Where was it?
Oh, that's so crazy. My very first show, and I only had 2 songs out. I had a song called Not That Nigga, the radio version was called Not That Villain, and The Mind of Mystikal. And it was at the Autocrat, which is in the 7th Ward, New Orleans. And it was the label that I had signed with, Big Boy Records. They was doing like a little showcase or whatever, and I came out, and that's when I just got introduced to smoking marijuana and all that kind of old fool. I don't smoke now, I can't anyway, but at that time, I had smoked, and that was like really my first time doing that too. So I had smoked, and the first song I was doing, Mind of Mystikal, it was real hypnotic, and it was already slow and gloomy. So that coupled with the goddamn effects of the marijuana, I was trying to do the song, and when I realized where I was, and that I was at a concert, I'm talking about I was damn near, my head was down there touching the floor, my eyes were closed, and I had to catch myself. I said, oh Lord. So I regrouped, and I did my faster song called Not That Nigga, and they loved it. They loved it. They were laughing at my punchlines and ooh and ah and to my hard lines. So it was. I knew I was onto something. I knew I was onto something.
Like real show. Where was the first time you remember performing in front of people?
That was. I mean, that's true because there wasn't a lot of people. I did so many. The first. You know what? I think I may have been mistaken. I think my first show that I got discovered to even do the deal with Big Boy Records was with KLC and them, because we were, that's where I learned how to do demos and learned the techniques and the dynamics of recording a record and putting ad libs on it and all the different components of recording. That's where I learned that in the basement on the Parkway. So I got discovered at a show which featured Spice One, Run DMC, and Dougie Fresh. And the producer for Big Boy Records, who I got signed to, the local label that I got signed to, was in the audience, and KL was the sound man. So by KL being the sound man, he slid me in with the opening acts, and I did well, and I got inquired about a lot, and that's how I got that deal. And that was a nice crowd. That was a nice crowd. Who hadn't never heard of me, didn't know what I was gonna do when I got up there and handled my business. And was remembered when I left and asked about, like, man, who, like you said, man, who that was, man, for real.
Were you involved in the gong shows at all? Or did you really kind of?
My sister did that. I was in the military during that time, and soon as I left to go to the military, because prior to me going to the military, I was working with Kel and them and getting my demo and working on trying to become a star or a rapper or whatever it was we was trying to do. Soon as I left, and when I signed to go join the army, they put a record out. They put Ask Them Hoes out, and I was glad, because my voice was on it. But I'm like, man, why would y'all wait till I leave and make it? It's, hearing yourself on the radio was like synonymous to making it. That's a degree of stardom. So I was like, man. And from that point on, my ambition for a military career went downhill. My boots stopped being shined, and my uniform stopped being ironed, and it was I had to go.
And what made you sign up in the first place to leave? Were you just trying to get out of New Orleans?
Yeah, trying to get out of New Orleans and still trying to do something productive, and trying to do something. Because that was a real. It was crucial in New Orleans at that time. It was crucial. It wasn't in '94. It was like 89, like 90. It was it was growing to where it was finna get really hectic. So actually I joined the army so I can go buy a car. I needed me a car, and I was figuring I was gonna go to Germany because I had heard that you get automobiles cheap over there. I was gonna give me a BMW, a Benz, or something. That was my motivation to go to the army, not to be a career military man. I ain't trying to say I ain't patriotic or nothing, but that wasn't what I was doing.
So when you came back, what was Big Boy like? I mean, like, so everybody's hanging out in the studio. Do you need time to work one-on-one?
When I came back, I immediately started back working with KL and them, and it wasn't long after I recorded a song called "Not That Nigga," which I wrote while I was in the military, and came home and recorded it and performed it in that show I was speaking of earlier. Is when I got my deal with Big Boy. He came to KL studio on the Parkway. Charles Temple, the CEO of Big Boy Records, and they were conversing, and I didn't know what they were talking about. They were talking about me the whole time. So when I went outside, he spoke with me personally, and we kind of put that deal together, and that's where Mystikal started. That's where I got my true break.
Your work with KLC and your work with Cise, back in that period,
Mm-hmm.
You're always you, and you're always immediately recognizable. You don't
Mm-hmm.
sound like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But both of those producers really seem to bring out the best in you in
Right.
different ways.
Right.
What do you think each of their individual?
Just their know-how and their knowledge of what they were doing. Because at that point, I wasn't really knowledgeable of the technical part. I didn't even know how long a verse was supposed to be. My bars, verses typically supposed to be 16 bars. Mine were like 32, 48. I had a lot to say, and it was a lot of naivety to it. I was naive to the fact, but I learned, and I know that their creativity and their knowledge of the game is what really, really helped bring out the best in me. Definitely.
And then at the point that No Limit came about, then how did the production styles change, and how did
Bass. With Cise had a lot of bass line driven, and he kind of used the heaviness of the bass line to give it the boom. Calvin used pure D, fucking sonic boom, boom, thunder. What we used to call that rumble, boy. So got that rumble in it. Got that bottom, for real. So that was the difference. And when I went to No Limit, because I wasn't going over there to sign a deal. The first job I had with No Limit was to record a record for Bout It Bout It soundtrack. I had missed the movie part because I wouldn't mind getting in that too, but I came along for the soundtrack, and I never left. I went there to record that soundtrack, and that's where I was. By the time I came home, I had a No Limit chain on and a Rolex. Couldn't tell me nothing, for real. It was on.
What's the first song that you think really made you feel like, okay, I can do this for a career?
One of the songs from it probably started with the Not That Nigga song because it really got great reviews, and it was the uniqueness of it. It was my lyrical delivery and the lyrics themselves. It had a lot going to it, and I was really, really driven and really motivated. I wasn't taking no for an answer. You were either gonna love me or you were gonna hate me. Nothing in the middle. He all right. You was gonna be saying, "Woo, he cold," that boy hot garbage, and I was cool with that. And for the most part, I got, "Woo, he cold." That's what I got.
A lot of people seem to remember the first time they ever heard you. I think he was talking about his. There's something about your delivery. There's something, you do kind of full body stuff. You do a lot of kinetics as well, and you just don't sound
Animated, right,
animated.
right.
Yeah. So, do you think your performance style has changed over time? Do you think out of the
It
gate,
it
you started?
it evolve it evolves, but basically, I'm still me, and what you're saying about people remembering the first time they heard me, that's what's kind of allowing me to continue to do what I do now because of those moments. They remember the first time they heard Shake Your Ass. They remember how the No Limit songs made them sound. And even before that, they remember the first time they heard me say, Black Prince of the South, that's my title. Ow, man, like it was just different. And the record company gave me a lot of flack about that. They were like, man, don't do that. You can't say no chicken. Ow, man, like Mike. I'm like, shit, watch me. I'm like, why? Man, they're not gonna take you serious. They're gonna take you for a clown. I'm like, good, I am. I'm retarded. I ain't right. So that was, as long as I can do it, true to my heart. And that's the advice I give artists that's, looking to do, to make a mark in this game. Do it from your heart. Be yourself. Because if you, win, lose, or draw, being yourself, you can recover from that. If you try to get out there and be somebody else and you fail, that's going to be very hard to recover from. It's going to be hard to say, all right, don't worry about that. This the real me. That's not real motivating to people. That what motivates people is seeing you be you against all odds, against whatever it is that's standing in your way, and to succeed at doing what you do your way. You know,
What were the hot clubs like when you were in New Orleans and you were going out?
Rumors, whispers, sensations, Club James, Lord, Club Detour. Now Club James and Detour, those were the really dangerous underground killer, drug dealer, people on drugs. Oh, that shit was. But it was a market. It was a true market, and I used to go through there and do those songs, and that used to be. Those are some of my most memorable concerts. Although they weren't on real big scales, it was almost like the Apollo. They were hard. They were tough. You couldn't just go in there. You go in there and don't please that crowd. It could turn out real bad for you. I used to go in there and not only please them, I used to fuck them up. Excuse my French. Yes.
A lot of people say New Orleans crowds are the hardest in the country to please.
And I see a lot of truth in that. Until the bounce market came, and that was another challenge and struggle, because during the era when I was trying to make my mark in the game, bounce was on the rise too. So the Slim them and Partners in Crime and TT Tuck and DJ Jimmy, that's all they wanted to hear. That repetitious dum 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 with the Trigger Man beat behind it, which is the beat to the Showboys. That's the artist that really did that song. And the name, what the name of that song is? I don't even know the name of the damn song. The show. That's what it was. Yes, Dragrap, fucking rap. That's the name of it. Yes, we didn't listen to that whole song. We listened to that part after Bounce came out, and trying to get on stage and really do lyrics and really rap. Whoa, they didn't want to hear that shit. They wanted to hear that beat, and they wanted to hear something that made you move. So I had to find a way to creatively appeal to that audience and still deliver my lyrics. And that's where my style evolved from.
What do you think the first song was that did that? That was a good.
Mind and Mystical. But like I said, Not That Nigga did it too, because I did a small portion. I said, I got the gimmick to make them bitches bounce like DJ Jim. I was doing my real lyrical rap and then just broke into a little bounce line and then went back to rapping, and it resonated with them because I gave them that element, But Y'all Ain't Ready Yet, it took it somewhere totally different. That was just something totally unique, unheard. I remember the first time when I was doing my promotional tour, I had got signed with Jive at this point. and it was, being played on the radio, and I met Reverend Run, who was just Run at that time. No, he was Reverend Run at that time. He said, and we were at the radio station. I can't remember which one. He said, "Man, I don't like no song on the radio better than I like that one right there." I'm like, wow. That was way. That was in like '95. That was huge to me, coming from Run. Somebody that I really looked up to. That fucking Run DMC Hall of Famers. Stop playing. So that was, people took to me well. It took to me well. Different markets had to warm up because of the bias, because of where I was from. New York and the big cities. They didn't. California took to me a lot better actually than New York did. New York would recognize me, but they wasn't messing with me. Like, yo, you Mystical, but we don't listen to that. Make your damn mind up.
See, from the outside, it really seems like you just had like a completely, steady incline.
It was.
To
It was. It was. I really didn't need the New York market. I had, I had enough embrace and enough fanfare, with the other markets. Eventually, I know, they was gonna get tired of, faking it, because I knew I was good. I actually got booed in a New York show that featured. This was a true New York show, and it was actually in Atlanta. It featured the great, awesome, fucking mighty KRS-One, Keith Murray, E40. I can't remember who else was on it, but I know it was maybe the Far Side or something like that. But I know it was a real hip hop show, and I got up there. They let me. I can't remember what songs I did in what order, but they let me get through my first one, and I had Tim Smooth, bless his soul. He was my hype man at the time. They let me get through my first song. I was getting impatient with my ass. I said, all right, I made it through that. I didn't want to get down. If I'd have did one song and moved around, it'd have been straight. But I tried to do about 3 or 4 songs. By the time I got to that fucking third song, they start lightly booing me on the second song. That third, you laughing? That third song, they was doing this here. By that fourth song, shit was flying at me. Not, but really pissed them off when they were booing me. Like the Apollo, they was going, like get off, like exit stage, or doing that exit stage left. Tim Smooth, crazy ass, start talking about something. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, y'all. Hey, oh, here come bottles and shit now. I'm like, you know what? Let me get the fuck off this stage. And I remember leaving off the stage with my fucking tail between my legs and my head down. And Keith Murray was about to go on. He had the most beautifulest thing in the world that was just tearing the charts up at that time. He looked at me and said, man, hold your head up, man. He said, man, you shined, man. He said, fuck what they talking about, man. Keep doing your thing, man. You shined. I don't know if he meant it sincerely, but it made me feel good at that time. Definitely did.
Diplo tweeted something the other day. He said,
that's a talented boy.
Yeah, that he used to get, booed off the stage if he played Cash Money or No Limit back in the day.
Wow.
Now it's the only thing.
And what markets was he doing that, though? Did that happen?
Back then, I think he was probably talking about coastal.
Coastal shit, right, of course.
But the point is, like, now he said he can't play anything else.
See, that's how I go. That's karma for your ass. Believe that,
So I was saying from the outset, it really seems like, it was just completely steady, and it was just a few years between, like, that stuff and, like, Cameron Diaz was talking about, like, listening to Shake Your Ass.
Wow.
I mean, it just seemed so effortless from the outside.
Wow. Man, Janet Jackson, I met her at one of the, maybe a Grammys or something like that. She walked up to me, that lady said, I love your song. And as we hugged and embraced and, tried to do the little cheek kiss, but I caught a little piece of lip, I was froze. And at that, matter of fact, the whatever it was, whatever event it was over with, and we were leaving. People were leaving the scene, and that happened. And hugged and kissed, and she told me she loved my song. I made us miss our limo because the limos were circling. You can't have Sylvester Stallone or whoever. You got some A-listers in this motherfucking place. And limos come and go. You gotta keep it moving. I was stuck. Missed that goddamn limo. I had to wait till it went all the way around. I ain't give a damn. For real. That was a big moment, definitely.
Do you think there still is, do you think it's come around like we were talking about, or do you still think that there is a stigma against Southern rap?
Not anymore. Not anymore. The stigma now is they mad because we've kind of changed the game and kind of took over a little bit, because at first we didn't get any radio play. And now, like you said, that's all you hear on the radio. And not only that, it influenced New York shit. Jay-Z music don't sound the same. That shit got a lot of, you got, and give him a lot of credit because he's very wise motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about? So, you just got to be smart enough and edgy enough and brave enough to go on and embrace it and keep it pushing. Can't be closed-minded.
And what specifically about New Orleans and New Orleans sound has influenced the country and the world, do you think?
Our drive, it's just unique. It's the cadences that we rap in, because the timing of our raps and the timing of our beats, you know, and I'm sure that's influenced by the second line grooves and even not being sacrilegious, even our gospel. Like growing up in church, man, when the choir get up there, it's jamming, for real. It's not nothing against the Catholic Church and all that, but it's not God again. Ain't dissing y'all. Like, hey, hallelujah, shout out glory, Jesus, Jesus, But the Baptist Church, what? Come on, man, for real. Yeah, we goes off, for real.
A lot of people would say that the song you did with Outkast is their favorite song, or your most classic. I've heard that from a lot.
It was unique. It was unique, and I think what they're saying is just the collaboration between the two different styles. Too abstract. I don't even know how the fuck. Mystical. How would you describe your style? I don't know. I have different, unique. And I know that's broad, but that's what it is. Like Outkast. How the hell would you describe that? You got to use words like different, strange. The name Outkast for crying out loud. You know what I'm talking about? So it's different. And my name Mystical, so it's a mystery. It's definitely mysterious.
What about other favorite songs of yours that you've done? Do you have an all-time favorite, or do you have some favorites?
I think when people ask me that question, I think I always go to Murderer, the Murderer 2, which I did about my sister. That song is, when I did that one, I barely can remember writing it. I barely can remember recording it. But I can, I remember the way it made me feel after I completed it. It just, I don't know. I needed that. Because had I not done that song, I think I would have did something else. So I was able to channel all of that into something positive and constructive. Even though I wasn't saying a lot of positive stuff, I was releasing, a lot of demons and all kind of, it was just, I had to do that song. I had to do that one.
Moving back in time a little bit with UNLV and the kind of rivalry and stuff, and the River single that you did. What was going on at that point?
I started that, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think, oh, they were just jealous of you, so they was hating on your success. No, those weren't bothering me. What had happened was, I did Y'all Ain't Ready Yet in '94, and that was the time I was combating with Bounce itself. I was fighting with it. We were really fighting, and I was really frustrated because I didn't want to be known as just like everybody else. I wanted to stand out, and I wanted to be known as a true artist. That's what I want motherfuckers to remember about me. So, in Y'all Ain't Ready Yet, and in my frustration, I said a line. I said, three things I'ma never do. One, never gonna change my style. Two, I'm never gonna bounce, and I'm never gonna bow. And I was referring to the song that they did, which was one of the big bounce hits, Do the Heady Bow, 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 and which was a song that I loved. But I mean, I wasn't really dissing them, but I guess I can see where they were coming from. But I was saying, oh, that's not me. That's all I was saying. And next thing you know, don't. Ain't that cold, y'all? Mystikal, you a hoe. My friends would come and sing that shit to me. I used to actually play it, for real. It was jamming. And people used to come up to me and say, man, they bound like they dissing you, but that bitch roll. And know what I used to say? That bitch do roll, Brian. Like, for real, it was hot. It was a hot song, man. That shit was jamming. I can remember because they were from Uptown also, like around Barone and all that, and I had relatives around there. I used to ride around there playing that song, jamming. They used to look at me. I'm talking about real UNLV. They used to look at me like, this motherfucker here crazy. Little kids used to throw rocks at my cars and that. All kind of shit. It wasn't no violent beef. It was a really on wax beef, but it was that was a fun rivalry. That was I can remember seeing Yellow, bless his soul. Uh, like if I'm driving down the street and I see him, we actually stop our cars and get out and be like, what? Like, and I'm sure that had a lot to do with Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society. Those movies fucked us up, but that's what we were going through. I mean, nothing ever came of it. We never shot at each other, no shit like that. We're just a chill. You want to fight? What you want to do? And I think one time he might have pulled the gun. I was like, all right, I don't want to do all that. And got my fucking car. That's enough. All right, I'm finished. For real. I'm all that. You got that. Because I had success. I was on a national label at this point. He still was trying to get where I was. Boy, deuces. Yeah, for real. That shit was funny, man.
There's so many artists, so many who haven't, gotten their shine in New Orleans. Is there
So many.
So many. Is there one above, or one or a group above others that, really never got the recognition they deserve that you really think above others?
Tim Smooth pops to my head first. Now, another artist that came up alongside of me was Dart. He never got the recognition he needed, and once I got to the shaky ass level and was able to launch my own label, which was Big Truck Records, I signed him. So that shit felt good. Even though fate would have it to where I would wind up having a debacle in my career and life and all that kind of stuff, and nothing ever came from it. But I did try to sign him. Like Tim Smooth was one of the guys, even though he did sign a major deal with Rap A Lot. I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but he never got the attention that he truly deserved, because he was a true. He's one of our New Orleans gems for real. Bless his soul, definitely.
And Dart from Freedom Posse, what happened with him during the whole Millennium?
Dart's a different kind of dude. Dart is very strong-willed. His way or the highway, no matter who had the money. He'll walk into the office, and the people that's really trying to do it, if he didn't have total control, it was almost to an unreasonable point. That kind of fucked that up a little bit. He's incredible talent. Not just rapping, producer, just intelligent beyond his years, what I'm talking about? So it just, damn, that's a travesty. Man, they got away with murder that time. They got away. Because had he been able to do what he was capable of doing, for real. A lot of artists, man. A lot of artists. Like one of my partners, his name Arthur Darby. We call him Bubby, and his rap name was the B.U.B.B. King. That was a bad boy. We used to look at it like sparring partners during that stage of the rap game, and that was way before any record deal or whatever. That was during my demo days or whatever. Man, wow, they had some incredible rappers come from that city, and I think we were New York influenced, mostly New York, because we listened to the real hip hop, California too, Cube, and Scarface. Oh my goodness. Me, it was LL for me. That was the one who I wanted to be. I'm talking about I patented every rhyme I did it with me and Kel used to call it LL spine. LL J is hard as spine. We used to call that the spine. Yeah, you got some spine on it. Yeah, you're back and right. So, yeah, I think LL was the one who influenced me the most. Definitely.
You represent New Orleans in so much of what you do, but I think it was the Bounce and Back video that
Right.
really, took that to a national level in terms of not only hearing it but seeing it.
Right,
That jazz
right. And I credit Pharrell for that, because that wasn't my idea. I didn't, I liked it, but that wasn't one of my favorite recordings. You know, I, not that it wasn't authentic. It had a New Orleans swing, but that wasn't the true. I mean, it had the sound and it had the swing, but that wasn't the true authentic New Orleans. And I got a little flack from it from the real second line bands, because when I did the video, we had extras from Atlanta who didn't know what the fuck a second line was, and there was, I think somewhere in the paper they said, that's not a second line, that's a damn circus. You know what I'm talking about? So, and I understood where they were coming from. I understood that, because I really could have did it, especially being a native, of jazz and blues and all that kind of shit. I could have did it different, but that was Pharrell. What the fuck you want me to do? Damn it, shit. Get right. Shit.
What are your goals now that you're back? Now that you're back in Louisiana? I mean, do you want to live here most of the time? Do you want to go elsewhere? What do you want
I always felt like it really doesn't matter where I live because I'm so busy. I won't be there all the time anyway. I'm always traveling. I'm always working. But main goals are to, number one, maintain. Don't decrease or don't tarnish any further or what I've established. To maintain and raise it back up a notch and get back on the top because I don't want 5 and 6, 7 years to go by and you ask somebody else that question and they be like, who one of the people that never could? It was Mystikal. We ain't having that. We ain't having that shit. We ain't having it. Definitely. But I can honestly say that what I've done, I ain't satisfied now, but what I've done, I'm proud of it. Because I've said so many times after getting 3 Grammy nominations, and I can go back as far as saying the first time I heard myself on the radio, I said, "Oh Lord, you could take me. I did it. I made it. I could die now." When I made my first 100,000, oh, I could die now. I did it. So you keep having moments like that, and you keep reaching. You keep reaching. You keep striving. So I was fortunate enough that God blessed me with the kind of talent and the kind of something. A lot of shit was lacking in them. It had a lot to do with the team that was around me because I really, really, really could have done greater and bigger things. And I did a lot of big things, a lot. My resume ain't so shabby, but it could have been better. I always, there's always room for improvement. That's a very true statement, So now that I still, I'm afforded the opportunity to still come back after, a very long, too damn long hiatus and still be blessed with youthfulness and still my career handsomeness and what I'm talking about for real. I ain't like that, y'all, but I'm just saying from what I get from the energy that I get back from the crowd and from the fans, what I do, I really appreciate it. And having this moment, I plan to take full advantage of it. No excuses, none.
Favorite tour?
Seagram's Gin, Shake Your Ass Tour. Googly moogly, dang it juicy. For real, that was it featured Jaheim, Jagged Edge, and myself. And it's a funny story because Jagged Edge and myself were the headliners. Jaheim didn't care, he just was on it, and he's a bad boy anyway. And I guess how you say music sales wise, Jagged Edge and I were kind of we were compatible. And because I remember we did a what was that, the Latin Day Parade or the Puerto Rican Day Parade in New York, 2 and 3 million people, in tall buildings. I'm talking about, it was Mardi Gras on steroids for real. And we were on the float, and they performed "Take Me to the Altar," that "Let's Get Married," whatever the name of that song is, and I performed "Shake Your Ass." Now, when they performed first and they did the slow version, it was grooving. I did "Shake Your Ass." Motherfucker was in the window. It was, it was like, it was like the whole scene changed. And after, when it was their turn again, they did their fast version, the one that featured Run on it, So it was, I think that's where that tour spawned from. So when it got to tour level, Jagged Edge, they wanted to go last. They wanted to hit. We both headliners. It doesn't matter who go first or last. I think when the people that put it together, they was just trying to end it on an upbeat with hip hop instead, because y'all got slow stuff. We don't want to end it like this here. We don't want to end the night like this. You know what I'm talking about? So they say we want to go first, and me being as non-confrontational as I am and don't want to be argumentative, go right ahead. You know what I'm talking about? I'm gonna let y'all go last. So I went first, and after I got my ass off that stage, concert was over with. So when they came out, did a ticket to the altar, there wasn't nobody to take it to the altar with. Yeah, they actually left the tour. They left that fucking tour. I love them dudes. I like, talented dudes. That wasn't my fault. I try to tell them, no, that was not my fault, for real. For real. No, that's one issue I've always had in my damn career. Motherfuckers have trouble going behind me. Me and Juvenile did a concert, and I think he came late or something, and I had to go on first. But he was trying to hurry up and get there. He was like, I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I ain't finna go behind Elvis. I said, you crazy little motherfucker. Trust me, Juvenile holds his own. His goddamn hit catalog doesn't stop. What? And that's one of the guys I really enjoy. Our music really mesh because it's that same moment, because back that ass up and shake your ass, that fucking 400 degrees, you know. That's one of the guys that we really do well in our concerts together. And it doesn't matter who go first or second. If I go first, they waiting on Juvenile's ass. Believe that. But for the most part, motherfuckers don't like them. They don't like to go behind me. Ask Rick Ross. Yeah, you can't just get your big ass up, big ass up there and take your shirt off. Now you gotta cut up. Fucking people like, you saw that man up there now, Rick. Nikki too. She went behind me too before. Gotta do more than sign titties, Nikki. For real. For real. I'm a fool. I'm a fool. I talk. I mean that.
What was it like? Those two songs came out right around the same time. You're just saying, what was it like to have such a crazy thing happen to two songs that came out of the same city? What was it like in the city?
Actually, Shake Your Ass wouldn't have been my pick, and I'm glad I was open-minded enough and not mule-headed, to try to, change their mind about that. Back That Ass came out in '99. So when 2000 came and I recorded Shake Your Ass, and I remember the process, that was the first beat Pharrell played for me. I had actually worked with him for the Oliver Stone Any Given Sunday soundtrack. Jump, jump, dun 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 jump. So we had some history. This was our next encounter. That was the first beat he played. The next time I seen him in the studio, and the next time we worked together. I couldn't stop my body from moving. I was, and she had me like a puppet. I was like, that's it, Pharrell, that's it. He was like, all right, you got to check out some more though. Went through so many. All I could do was just think about that first beat. I'm like, yeah. Get back to that first. And that's what we had to go with. When we did that one, and when the label heard that one, oh my goodness. Every time, people heard it for the first time, it was just automatic. It was just an instant hit. They were like, wow. And I was like, man, I was concerned with, I didn't want people to think, like you said, back that, I didn't want people to think that I was trying to copy Juvenile, Back That Ass. I'm like, nah, that ain't me. I can rap. That even though I was rapping my ass off on it, I was picking probably one of my KL songs. Let's Get Ready to Rumble, or I'm Throw It Off, or You Would If You Could, one of my real lyrical, displays. They're like, Mystikal, you still got that on there. This your hit, trust me. I'm like, all right. If this fuck up, I'm coming flip every table over in this motherfucker, for real. I learned that from Keith Murray. When Keith Murray was on Jive, and this was a story I heard, I wasn't there. And his record, The Beautifulest One Thing in the World, when it didn't go gold, he went in there and flipped desks and tore shit up and all that, and his record went gold. The execs did what they had to do to push it to make it go gold. So that shit worked. I said, oh, they respond to that. So I remember one time, Jive and I went in disagreement. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna do the Keith Murray. Flipping shit, tearing shit. One fucking table I couldn't even pick up. I just kicked the chair. I meant that. And I think the argument was they didn't want to put, I had turned my album in and I had it how I wanted. I had it synchronized. I had everything chronologically how the fuck I wanted it. The flow of it. This song, and everything. By the time I got it back, songs was missing. Shit was sideways. Did it change the beat to this one? So that's when I went into my, temper tantrum. Motherfuckers was trying to shake my hand. I was slapping their hand, and sticking y'all fucking hand. I was faking. All the motherfucker had to do was say boo. I was gonna probably run out of there, but I was going with my move. That was my story, and I was sticking to it. Damn it. So it worked out. It worked out. I wouldn't advise no artist to do that. They're gonna lock your ass up. Don't do that. This a new day and era. And I had a level of success at that time, so they kind of had to excuse my little stupidity. They knew better than that. They knew I was full of shit. Definitely.
Oh, that begs another question. How much creative control have you had in your career, do you think?
Oh, until it comes to the record, you have to come to some kind of medium, especially with the motherfuckers that's paying for it. Yeah, I'm putting it together, but it's dual thing. This is a joint effort. It's a joint effort. We have to come to, and you got to be careful because we're gonna love every song that we do. All of them, our babies. That's my favorite one, because that happened before too. Ooh, that's gonna be the one. It was cool. The one that I don't fucking like is the one they love. Now, what the make y'all fucking line up? So you gotta you gotta let the people do it, and that's where concerts and shit come in at, and that's what really gave me the final say. That what gave me the final decision to go ahead and do Shake Your Ass, because I was pushing Throw It Off and Shake Your Ass. I had just recorded that Let's Get Ready album, and I had just finished recording it, and I said, let me go test it, and I said, I'm finna kill him or Throw It Off. It was good. No, I'm throwing it off. They're like, that's cool. But then as soon as fuck. All right, that's it. Y'all win. Fuck it. That's the one. It go like that sometimes. It goes like that. But as far as creative control, I have all the control as far as what I want to do. Now, when I got to Master P level, and Lord, he taught me so much. I know I'm a better rapper than you, Master P. You can't fuck with me rapping. I felt like, how the fuck you gonna tell me what to rap? You can't tell. If you could, we gonna challenge and rapping. And if you win, then you could tell me what the. It didn't come to that, because he, looking at what he had built, you gonna have to respect his fucking mind. So I said, you know what you say? And all he wanted was a mama song and a homie song. Everybody got a homie and everybody got a mama. You them two, and we good. And I said, you know what? I'm not doing no damn mama song. I said, you do it, and I put my verse on that. He said, all right. I left and came back. It's one of the biggest songs that to this day, why you gotta make your mama cry? Huh? He came up with the whole concept, the beat, every fucking thing. So after that, I had to respect his mind on that. Definitely. And when I do that song in concert, if I go outside singing and get line 10 motherfuckers up, they're gonna sing that bitch with me. Believe that. Hey, I'm hip hop. I thought that wasn't my cup of tea. The fucking mama song, depressing ass shit. You know what I'm talking about? Why you gotta make your mama cry? But it resonated, and that's one thing Master P established. That's one thing he did. He got the love of every ghetto in the United States of America, and I guess abroad too, for real. For real. The hood resonated. The hood rolled with him. Man, they rolled with him.
Did you hear he was the first rapper to be nominated or actually get into the Louisiana Music Hall of Fame?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Today?
That's not surprising. That's how long that's about time. Fuck, for real. That man, what he did for hip hop. Not just I was a part of the world, but what he did for hip hop. We teach each other. Suge Knight taught us. Jay-Z taught us. Puffy taught us. All the Mongols. There's something to learn from that. And artists too. Like what the fuck, Wayne and Drake and Nicki and them. See them three motherfuckers right there? Say what you want to, feel how you want to. There's definitely something to learn. Shit. If success don't have nothing to teach you, ain't nothing to be taught then. For real. Now what you do with that success, that's another story. But
we were talking earlier, and just to expound upon that, I really think it's so interesting how like KLC, Cise, and Manufacture all bring out different things in what you do.
Right.
And you've done a lot of stuff with Man recently. So
right.
What's going to happen with the stuff?
Political moves. The political differences are just differences with the label I'm on and him. They have, I guess you could say, litigations differences. So that's. But if I had the Credible Hulk arms, I would pull that shit I would pull that shit together. Man, I would pull that shit together for real and benefit from it. Oh my God, man. That's like it's gonna be a lost cause. I guess I just have to try to do those songs on different beats and just try to. It ain't gonna be the same. I can tell you that. It won't be the same. But sometimes they work out and things be better. So you never know. You just gotta go to. That's really not my job to try to play mediator between whatever. Definitely.
And, I guess it goes back to maybe a little bit before even Bounce, but the rappers you're probably looking towards you to, when you were honing your skills. It's easy probably just to say that, New Orleans is very lyrical because of Bounce, it's just repetition, it's this and that, it's one-dimensional.
That's one way of looking at it.
Lyrical MCs coming out in New Orleans, except for you and Mickey Tim Smooth.
How you gonna leave out Juvie? You don't think Juvie lyrical?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he's very fucking lyric. You know, his it's
But
a
why isn't it, like other bigger cities that you may see where,
we're
it's
small.
where it's lyrics.
You know, we're small, man. We're small. We have guys coming up now. You know, they just hadn't been heard yet. They're here. They got a motherfucker outside walking out there right now. Got something for Wayne ass. You know what I'm talking? Got something for my ass, for real. You know, so it's just a matter of, them getting heard or, taking the right channels and landing in the right place at the right time. You know. I mean, we definitely have them, but like you said, that's not something we were known for. And that's something that I definitely was trying to change. Put me in any circle. I don't give a fuck what car. Don't start me, bro. But yeah, real talk. And they know. They know. They know.
Anything from you? Anything else you want to talk about?
I love y'all, my fans. Man, I had the greatest fans in the world. Gotta be. They're patient. They run out of patience, but they're patient, and they ride with me. They understanding. They see me for what I am. They see me as a man. They see me. They they pick me up. All my high, all my, they got my back. They got my back. And they really feel good. And those are the people. And those are the people that are most important to me right now. The ones that waited the entire time. The new people, I'm gonna get y'all. Y'all be cool. Hey, I'm gonna get my little backpack kids. I got them. And matter of fact, I'm straight with them because their moms and uncles and big brothers and sisters passed me on to them. When they got of age, somebody in their fucking family said, you think that's how you gotta check this dude out right here. And that's I get a lot of, and they make you feel a little old, but my mama love you. What? My mama love you? That's what they say. Man, my dad, man, that's all we listening to. I'm like, wow. So there's a lot of good in that. There's a lot of good in that. I got the backpack kids, but the most important thing right now for me is the ones that waited. I want them to absolutely get their opportunity to say, I told you. Be cool, y'all. Y'all will say that. Be cool. Be cool. I know I don't trying to block it. The devil be busy or whatever, but he alive. He's definitely alive. Victory is mine. Victory is mine for real. Victory today is mine. It's going down. Believe that. Believe that. I mean that. All right.